throne. Coming for the throne.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me. No lie, make it last forever. Stop in time, yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you.
Hello. Oh crap. Hold on. No. Wait. No. Don't. No. Dang it. OBS.
Can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me.
to all of them. And the voice of it all.
Hello, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. How has everybody been? I hope y'all been doing pretty good. I've been doing pretty good myself. No one saw that, right? No one saw that. I totally did not add almost 10 minutes, and all I've been doing is trying to get Vtuber Studio to work. Okay, hold on, give me a sec. I forgot to open something. Okay, we should be good now. We're going back to Principia Mathematica today, and since we were having internet issues last time, I'm pretty sure it'll be fine if I don't do this, but I'm going to go back to the start of the paragraph. Just so it's in there, and that we have it. So I just wanted to let y'all know that before we begin, and I had stuff to talk about today, but something happened just before stream, and I kind of forgot about it, because it was kind of a big thing. No, I will not be talking about that on stream. So, give me one. Okay, let's begin. So we're going back to the start. Oh crap, what did I do? Cancel. We good? Are we good? We appear to be good. So, let us begin. The use of dots. Dots on the line of symbols have two uses. One to bracket off propositions, the other to indicate the logical product of two propositions. Dots immediately precede or followed by the V that they were using for or the little backward C thing that they're using for and, or the equivalence, or the asserted, or by x, xy, xyz, or x exists, xy exist. Thank you to Chatter in the last stream who told me what that E means. XYZ exist, or by what is that? Hold on. Give me a second, I need to look this symbol up. Got it. Or by iota x phi x, or ry, or analogous expressions serve to bracket off a proposition. Dots occurring otherwise serve to mark a logical product. The general principle is that a larger number of dots indicate an outside bracket. A smaller number of dots indicates a inside bracket. The exact rule is as to scope the bracket indicated by the dots is arrived at by dividing the occurrences of dots into three groups, which we will name Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2, and Roman numeral 3. Group 1 consists of dots adjoining a sign of implication and or equivalence or disjunction. A sign of implication or of equivalence or of disjunction or of equality by definition equals df. Group 2 consists of dot following brackets indicative of an apparent value such as x, xy, or x exists, or xy exists, or iota x phi x. I'm probably not reading that. I'll look something up on how to read mathematical equations out loud, because I'm probably not doing this right, because there's lots of I'm gonna reread that part just so y'all know what I'm looking at. such as, going back to the start of the list, such as open parentheses x or open parentheses xy, close parentheses, there's a close parentheses behind the x, or open parentheses x exists, close parentheses, or open parentheses xy exists, close parentheses, or open bracket, open parentheses, iota x, close parentheses, open parentheses, phi x, close parentheses, close bracket. So I'm going to look up how to read that a little bit better. Or analogous expressions. Hold up. Group 3 consists of dots which stand between propositions in order to indicate a logical product. Group 1 is of greater force than Group 2, and Group 2 than Group 3. The scope of the bracket indicated by a collection of dot extent by a collection of dot. Wait, where was I? The scope of the bracket indicated by any collection of dots extends backwards or forwards beyond any smaller number of dots, or any equal number from a group of less force until we reach either the end of the asserted proposition, or a greater number of dots, or an equal number of belonging to a group of equal or superior force. Dots indicating a logical product have a scope of works both backwards and forwards. Other dots only work away from the adjacent sign of disjunction, implication, or equivalent, or forward from the adjacent symbol of one of the other kinds enumerated in Group 2. Some examples will serve to illustrate the use of dots. P or Q dot and dot. So it's if P and Q, then P and Q, because that's the if then thing. Hold on. So let me see. I guess this would be read as, yeah, what I just said. If P or Q, then Q or P means the proposition P or Q implies, I guess I could write it as implies, instead of the way I'm doing, that's easier to read. I'm probably just going to read it like that. Q or P. We assert the proposition instead of merely considering it. We write P or Q implies Q or P. I guess, should I read this as asserting? I guess I should read it as asserting instead of put asserted at the end. So asserting P or Q implies Q or P. There are two dots after the assertion sign. Show that what is asserted is the whole of what follows the assertion sign. Since there are not as many as two dots anywhere else, if we had written... Oh crap, I need to look up how to read these dots. Because there's going to be... Let me look up how to read these. Hold up, where's Google? Quick side project, because this is kind of important. Dots and I know I can't read that. Good night, by the way. You going to bed? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of late, but... Yep, I love math. That is why I'm reading it. Greetings from Argentina. Well, I'll give you greetings from the US. Please speak in English. That's the only language I'm good at knowing, sort of. That's probably not spelled right. It was close enough. Yeah, that's what was just explained. I need to know how to read it out loud because there's a lot of dots. Single dot. Okay, hold on. Single dot is typically read as and when. That's what happens to me for never paying attention in English classes, and now I don't understand you. Well, I've not really said anything yet. I've gone like 2 paragraphs. I need to be more attentive. Okay, how do I read more than 1 dot though, Google? Because there's kind of a lot of dots. Thank you, Botrix. Okay, yeah. 2 dots. No, this is single dot. Hold up. I need how to read, because I need more than just single dots, because I got double dots, and I think there's, yep, there's triple dots. Is there quadruple dots? I don't see any quadruple dots. I think we only have single, double, and triple dots. Keep that in mind. Okay, what are we keeping in mind? Sorry, I'm distracted trying to figure out how to read this. I'm distracted trying to figure out how to do my job. Epic disappears? Yep. Okay, got not P. Okay, got and. Got or. So we already did all that. This is not helpful. Well, confusing people can be a useful skill. Please no Spanish, otherwise you're gonna get timed out. Only English. Actually, wait. Do I have that as a chat role? Give me a second. Dang it, I need to update my chat rules to say only speak in English. I'll do that after the stream. Okay, you get 1 free stream. After that, there will be new rules implemented. Just because I don't want to do that now. But it will be here before the next stream. I do need to kind of be able to understand my chat. It's true, that's false. Good. No? Yeah, but where are the dots? I need to know how to read the dots. I got 1 dot. Wow, that's not helpful at all. Let's try this one. No, this is the one I just clicked on. Let's try this one. No, this is an actual class. I don't need a class. I just need to tell me how to read the dots. Oh my gosh, the chart. One dot. Okay, hold up. All good. That's unhelpful. That's just Morse code. Wait, do we have alt codes for these symbols? Hold up. Hold up. I'm glad to keep the alt code thing open. Let's see. Hey Techie, how you doing? Do you know how to read the dots in mathematical logic? That seems like something you would know, because I know you. Um, I'm stuck because I don't know how to read. Okay, we got one dot. How do I read two dots? I don't got time for a video. Are they all just and? Is that... So how do I read it? Because I got one dot, which is and, but I don't know how to read two dots. Or three dots. It's not, they're not, it's a child, it's more of a, yes, I've seen the triangles for the dots. But that's not what the triangles is. I got two dots stacked, it's a colon, basically. And then it's a colon with a single dot at the bottom for the three dots. And, yeah, but I've already found both the three dots that aren't right, which are therefore and because. I mean, yeah, you have my notes. You might as well. It looks like a colon. What part of that was not clear? They're stacked on top of each other. You know what? I'm just gonna go back to reading and I'll look up all this later. What was it? First drink. Let's see. Where was I? There I was. Where the two dots after the assertion sign show that what is asserted is the whole of what follows the assertion sign, since there are not as many as two dots anywhere else. If we had written P or Q implies Q or P. Oh, that's like, how do I read that though? Because that's what the... You know what? I'm just going to read the two dots as colon, and y'all are going to have to figure that out. I'll look it up after stream. Or look it up tomorrow, because after stream it's bedtime. If I remember, I'll look it up tomorrow, because after stream it's bedtime. P colon or colon Q and implies and Q or P. That's what I'm looking at. That would mean, asserted this, we would have to put three dots after the assertion sign. No. That would mean the proposition either P is true or Q implies P or Q. Ah, I should have just kept reading. Figured it out. The book explained it. I just had to keep reading. Either P is true or Q implies Q or P. If we wish to assert this, we should have to put three dots after the assertion sign. You know what? I can send you a picture of what I'm looking at. I'll send you a picture of what I just read. That's my face. Because I actually know you, and I have the power of pictures. Also, why are you here? I mean, I'm not complaining. You're fine to be here. Just why? This is not somewhere you normally are. Thank you, Botrix. Books tend to do that. Books tend to do what? Oh, you've been messaging me and I completely missed it. Oh, sweet. When did I start getting purple when I did that? Yeah, I see that now, Becky. Huh. When did I start doing that? Cool. Yeah, they do explain themselves. I just don't know how to read it. It doesn't explain how to read it. Twitch, YouTube, and Kick, y'all get to be confused because now the conversation's happening on Discord. Where was I? Okay, either P is true or Q implies P or Q implies Q or P. If we wish to assert this, we should have to put 3 dots after the assertion sign. If we had written P or Q implies... Wait, hold on. Q or P, that would mean the proposition either P or Q implies Q or P is true. Yeah, I'm gonna need to look some stuff up on how to read this a little bit better. The forms P or Q implies Q or P, and P or Q implies Q or P have no meaning. Oh my gosh. If P then Q implies... If Q then R implies P then R. If P then R. Nope, I was close, but I nearly read that correctly. Yeah, I know. I never said Discord was delayed. Stream so just to be confused because they're delayed. Okay, I was close with reading that one, but I was not quite. Will mean if P implies Q, then if Q implies R, then if Q implies R, P implies R. If we wish to assert this, which is true, we write asserting if P implies Q, then Q implies R, P implies R. Then if Q implies R, P implies R. Again, oh my gosh, P implies Q. If P implies Q, I said that I'm messaging here because Twitch is slow. Oh, okay, yeah, I don't have time to read all that, but that's fine. I'll put you over here with chat. There we go. I'm not reading that right now either. I'll look through it later. Which is true. We write asserting if P implies Q, then if Q implies R, implies... Wait, no. If... This is not an easy thing to read. Okay. Asserting if P implies Q, then if Q implies R, P implies R. Yeah, that's right. Again, P implies Q. If P implies Q, then if Q implies R, then P includes R, which means if P implies Q implies R, then P implies R. This is a general and true. Observed that P implies Q is sometimes the most conveniently read as P implies Q. It is, and sometimes as if P then Q. P implies Q, Q implies R, then P implies R will mean if P implies Q and Q implies R, then P implies R. Let's go, I read one correctly. Thank you for the notes, Techie. This is not true in general. Here, the two dots indicate the logical product. Since the two dots do not occur anywhere else, the scope of these two dots extends backwards to the beginning of the proposition and forward to the end. P or Q. Hold on. Okay, if either P or Q. Wait, hold on. P or Q. If P or Q, then P or If P or Q, then P or Q implies R, then P or R will mean if either P or Q is true, then if either Q or P implies R is true, it follows that either P or R is true. If this is to be asserted, we must put 4 dots after the assertion sign, thus asserting. I'm just going to cheat off the book. If either P or Q is true, then if either P or Q implies R is true, it follows that either P or R is true. Okay. This proposition is proved by the body of the work. It is (257). If we wish to assert that what is equivalent to above the proposition, if either P or Q is true and either P or Q implies R is true, then either P or R is true, which we write asserting if either P or Q is true and either P or Q implies R is true, and then either P or R is true, we write what I just read. We write, and then we just get rid of it. If we write, oh wait, did you find me a definitions thing? Hold on, does this tell me how to read it? No, we've already covered some of this stuff, but this is going to be helpful. I will gladly look through all this stuff later. Thank you, Techie. I will gladly look through that stuff later. I am reading a textbook for fun. Notes are good. Here, the first pair of dots indicates a logical product, while the second pair does not. Thus, the scope of the second pair of dots passes over the first pair and back until we reach the 3 dots after the assertion sign. Other uses of dots follow the same principles and will be explained as they are introduced. In reading a... Oh, you're sending a lot of messages. Okay. I'm gonna keep reading. Thank you, Botrix. Where was I? Here, the first pair of dots indicates a logical product, while the second pair does not. Thus, the scope of the second pair of dots passes over the first pair and back until we reach the 3 dots after the assertion sign. Other uses of dots follow the same principles and will be explained as they are introduced. In reading a propositional, the dots should be noticed first as they show its structure in a propositional containing several signs of implication or equivalence. The one with the greatest number of dots before or after it is the principal one. Everything that goes before this one is is stated by the proposition to imply or be equivalent to everything that comes after it. Definitions. A definition is a declaration that a certain newly introduced symbol or combination of symbols is to mean the same as a certain where was I? Or a certain combination of symbols is to mean the same as a certain other combination of symbols of which the meaning is already known, or the or if the defining combination of symbols is one which only acquires meaning when combined in a suitable manner with other symbols. What is meant is that any combination of symbols in which the newly defined symbol or combination of symbols occurs is to have that meaning, if any, which results in substituting the definition combined of defining combination of symbols for the newly defined symbol or the combination of symbols wherever the latter occurs. We will give the names of defifindum and defines respectively to what is defined and to that which is defined as meaning. We express a definition by putting defifindum to the left and the defines to the right, with the sign equals between and the letters df to the right of the definition. It is to be understood that the equal sign of the letters definition are to be regarded as together forming one symbol. The sign equals without the letters df will not have a different meaning, as to be explained shortly. An example of a definition is if P implies Q. Hold on. Let me refer back to some other. Give me a second. I need to. Yeah. Got it. So hold on. An example of a definition is if P implies Q, that is equal to not P or Q being defined. It is to be observed that a definition is, strictly speaking, no part of the subject in which it occurs, for a definition is concerned wholly with the symbols, not with what they symbolize. Moreover, it is not true or false, being the expression of a violation, not of a I don't think that's right. Not of a proposition. For this reason, definitions are not preceded by the assertion sign. Theoretically, it is unnecessary ever to give a definition. We might always use the defines instead, and thus wholly dispense with the definiendum. Thus, although we employ definitions and do not define definitions yet and do not define definition yet. Definition does not appear among our primitive ideas because the definitions are no part of our subject, but are strictly speaking more typographical conveniences. Practically, of course, if we introduce no definition or formula, would be very soon become so lengthy as to be unimaginable, but theoretically, all definitions are superfluous. In spite of the fact that definitions are theoretically superfluous, it is nevertheless true that they often convey more important information than is combined. Oh, excuse me. Than is contained in the propositions in which they are used. This arises from two causes. First, a definition usually implies that defins is worthy of careful consideration. Hence, the collection of definitions embodies our choice of subjects and our judgment as to what is most important. Secondly, when what is defined is, as often occurs, something already familiar, such as cardinal or ordinal numbers, the definition contains an analysis of the common idea. Many therefore express a notable advance. Cantor's definition of the springtime Cantor's definition of the continuum illustrates this. His definition amounts to the statement that what he is defining is the object which has the properties commonly associated with the word continuum, though what precisely constitutes these properties had not before been known. I don't know why you couldn't read that. In such cases, a definition is a making definite that gives definingness to an idea which had previously been more or less vague. For that reason, it will be found in what follows that the definitions are what is most important and what is most deserves the reader's prolonged attention. Some important remarks must be made respecting the variables occurring in the... Well, why are you making weird audio things? My headphones are starting to break. I'm getting like static stuff coming through. It's fine, I just bought new ones. For those reasons, it will be found in what follows that the definitions are what is most important and what most deserves the reader's prolonged attention. Some important remarks must be made respecting the variables occurring in the definitions and definium, but these will be deferred till the notion of an apparent variable has been introduced, when the subject can be considered as a whole. Summary of the preceding segments. There are in the above three primitive ideas which are not defined but only descriptively explained. Their primitiveness is only relative to our exposition of logical connection and is not absolute, though of course such an exposition gains in importance according to the simplicity of its primitive ideas. These ideas are symbolized by not P and P or Q, and by the assertion sign prefixed to a proposition. Three definitions have been introduced. P. Hold on. P, I guess would be P and Q equals, it's a definition, P and Q equals not P or not Q. P implies Q equals not P or Q. P equivalence, P being equivalence to Q is equal to P implies Q and Q implies P. Primitive propositions. Some propositions must be assumed without proof, since all inference proceeds from propositions previously asserted. These, as far as they concern the functions of propositions mentioned above, will be stated in 1, where the formal and continuous explosion of the subject comments, such as propositions, will be called primitive propositions. Excuse me. Such propositions will be called primitive propositions. These, like the primitive ideas, are to some extent a matter of arbitrary choice, though, as in the previous case, a logical system grows in importance according to primitive propositions are few and simple. It will be found that owing to the weakness of imagination in detailing with simple abstract ideas, no great stress can be laid upon their obviousness. They are obvious to the instructed mind, but then so are many propositions which cannot be quite true, as being disproved by their contradictory consequences. The proof of a logical system in its adequacy and its coherence. That is, 1, the system must embrace among its deductions all those propositions which we believe to be true and capable of deduction from logical premise alone, though possibly they may require some slight limitation in the form of an increased stringency of... I don't think that's education. Enunciate. No, that's not right. It might be. And 2, the system must lead to no contradictions, namely in pursuing our inferences. We must never be led to assert both P and not P, i.e. both inserting P and inserting not P cannot legitimately appear. The following are primitive propositions employed by the calculus of propositions by the letters PP, stands for primitive propositions, capital P, lower p. One, anything implied by a true premise is true primitive proposition. This is the rule which justifies inference. inserting P or P, then P is a primitive proposition. Asserting if if Q, then P or Q is a primitive proposition. Asserting if P or Q, then Q or P is true, which is a primitive proposition. 5. Was I reading numbers before, or was I just reading? I don't know. 5. Asserting if either P or Q or R, then either Q or P or R is a primitive proposition. 6. If Q implies R, then P or Q implies P or R is a primitive proposition. 7. Besides the above primitive propositions, we require a primitive proposition called the axiom of identification of real variables when we have separately asserted two different functions of x. Where x is undetermined. It is often important to know whether we can identify the x in one assertion with the x of the other. This will be the case, so our axiom states if both assertions present x as the argument to some one function, that is to say, if phi x is constituent in both assertions, whatever propositional function phi may be, or more generally, if phi xyz is a constituent in one assertion, and phi xuv is a constituent in another. This axiom introduces notations which have not yet been explained. For a fuller account, see the remarks accompanying 303, which is the statement of this axiom in the body of this work, as well as the explanation of the propositional functions and ambiguous assertion to be given shortly. Some simple propositions in addition to the primitive propositions we have already mentioned. The following are among the most important of the elementary properties of propositions appearing among the deductions. The law of excluded middle, asserting P or not P. This is to 11 below. We shall indicate it in brackets, the numbers given to the following propositions in the body of the work. The law of contradiction, 324, asserting not P and not P. The law of double negation, 413, asserting P is equivalent to not P. The principle of transportation, i.e. if P implies Q and not Q implies not P, and vice versa. This principle has various forms. I need to clear my throat. This principle has various forms, namely, asserting if P, then Q is equivalent to not Q. If not Q, then not P. Asserting P is equivalent to Q and equivalent to not P being equivalent to not Q. Asserting if P and Q then R equivalent to R is equivalent to P and not R being equivalent to not Q, as well, I think I read that right, as well as others which are variants of these, the law of, not even try that, in the two forms, 424, there were numbers was next to all of those, I forgot to read, oops. 424 asserting P being equivalent to P or P, 425 asserting that P is equivalent to P or, wait no, that's wrong. 424 asserting that P is equivalent to P and P. 425 asserting that P is equivalent to P or P, i.e. P is true, the equivalent to P is true and P is true, as well as to P is true or P is true. Formal, well, got stuff to do, have fun with propositional logic and its annoyances. See ya. Bye, Techie. See you later. As well as to P is true, or that I read that. From a formal point of view, it is, though the law of, not even try that, it's the same word from earlier, and its consequences and that of the algebra of logic is chiefly distinguished from ordinary algebra. The law of absorption, 471, asserting that if P implies Q, which is equivalent to P being equivalent to P or Q, no, P and Q, sorry, i.e. P implies Q is equivalent to P is equivalent to P or Q. This is called the law of absorption because it shows the factor Q in the product is absorbed by the factor P if P implies Q. This principle enables us to replace an implication P implies Q by an equivalence P implies Q and P and Q, sorry, whenever it is convenient to do so. And analogous and very important principle is the following. What time is it? How long have we been going? Block by clock. We've been going on almost an hour. We can go a little bit longer. I'll probably finish up this page and then be done for the day. It's like an entire page, so I just started it. I might do the next page as well. We'll see how I'm feeling. 473. I'm asserting if Q implies that P is equivalent to Q and asserting that if Q implies that P is equivalent to P and Q, logical addition and multiplication of propositions obey the associative and commutative laws and the distributive law in two forms, namely 4, asserting P and Q or R is equivalent to is equivalent to P and Q or P and R. Hope I'm reading that right. 441 asserting or Q and R is equivalent to P or Q or P or R. No. And P or R? Equivalence to P or Q and P or R. Let's go with that. The second of these distinguishes the relations of logical addition and the multiplication from those arithmetical addition and multiplication. Propositional functions, let phi x be a statement containing a variable x and such that it becomes a proposition when x is given any fixed determined meaning. Then phi x is called a propositional function. It is not a propositional since, owing to the ambiguity of x, it really makes no assertion at all. Thus, x is hurt really makes no assertion at all till we have settled who x is. Yet, owing to the individual retained by the ambiguous variable x, it is an ambiguous example from the collection of propositions arrived at by being all possible determinations to x in x is hurt, which yield a proposition true or false. Also, if x is hurt and y is hurt occur in the same context where y is another variable, then according to the determinations given to x and y, they can be settled to be possibly the same proposition or possibly different propositions, but apart from some determination given to x and y, they retain in that context their ambiguous differentiation, and thus x is hurt is an ambiguous value or of a propositional function. When we wish to speak of the propositional function corresponding to x is hurt, we shall write x with a little with a little arrow pointing up on top of it. It's like a hat. X gets a hat. X is hurt and y is hurt convey no distinct meaning at all. More generally, phi x is an ambiguous value of a propositional function. What is that thing called? Give me a second. Give me a second. I need to look this up so I could read it because this thing seems important. I'm sorry, what? What a circumflex. Could y'all hear that? Doesn't look like it. Okay. It's called a circumflex. Got it. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. To occurring in the same context and not be a string. That's not right. We shall write x with a circumflex is. There has to be a better way to read that. I guess it'll just be circumflex x. Circumflex x is hurt. Thus, circumflex x is hurt is the propositional function of x is hurt and an ambiguous value of that function. According though x is hurt and y is hurt, occurring in the same context can be distinguished as circumflex x is hurt and circumflex y is hurt. Convey no distinction of meaning at all. More generally, phi, right? Yeah, it's phi. Phi x is an ambiguous value of the propositional function phi circumflex x, and when a definite specification A is substituted for x, phi A is unambiguous value an unambiguous value of phi circumflex x. Propositional functions are the fundamental kind from which the more unusual kinds of functions such as sine x or log x or the father of x are derived. These I don't know how to say that. Functions are considered later and are also called descriptive functions. The functions of propositions considered above are a particular case of propositional function, the range of values and total variation, and thus corresponding to any propositional function. This is being crossed out. Phi x, phi circumflex x. There's a range or a collection of values consisting of all the propositions true or false, which can be obtained by giving. Oh, there's so much. Yeah. Okay. Every possible determination to x in psi x. Phi x, sorry. Not psi x. Psi is something else. It's phi. Okay, yeah, we're gonna call it there, because I'm gonna need to look some stuff up for next time. Because, yeah, this ain't gonna happen. Yeah, so, I'll do that. I'll look up how to pronounce things, either before tomorrow. I will do this tomorrow, or I'll do it on Wednesday, and we'll probably pick this back up on Thursday. I don't think there's gonna be a Wednesday stream this week. I don't have any plans for the rest of this week. I might do some Overwatch. I might do some Halo. I updated the Halo thumbnail, so I could do that. But I'll figure it out. But as it stands now, I have no plans for what I want to do for the rest of the week. So, yeah. I can tell you there's gonna be a stream tomorrow. Other than that, I got nothing. So thank y'all for joining me. I was struggling today for some reason. I don't know what that's about. But it's bedtime, so I'm gonna go to bed. I hope y'all have a great night. And let's see. Do we have enough to rate on anywhere? There's no one on YouTube. Actually, no, we got one person on YouTube. Sorry, it just took a second to load. So that's not enough people to raid. We got one person on Twitch. So that's again not enough to raid. And one person on Kick. So we got 3 people total. Welcome one and all. But not enough people to raid on any one platform. We'll see. I'll figure out if we're gonna play a game or if we're going to be doing something else tomorrow eventually. Yeah, I'll figure it out. And I hope y'all join me for that. Thank y'all for joining me today, though, and I will see y'all later.